Can you become a millionaire in Fallout 4? It's difficult but completely possible. Look, here's even Jabbo doing it.
All my friends are dead.
Yes! We did it!
Okay, so then can you become a millionaire in Fallout 4 without leaving Sanctuary? Sounds hard, right? Okay, well now let's also add in maximum difficulty, survival mode, and permadeath. Oh yes, that's more like it. Hello ladies and gents, I'm the Spiffing Brit and I break games for a living by thinking outside of the box. But I am a dastardly evil British person with more tricks up my sleeve than Tony Hawk. So let's dive into this game and make some money. We're in the glorious world of Fallout where unfortunately, oh no, my beloved husband has died. But he is still good for one thing, he comes with a free wedding ring. Yes, we're going to make our way through the tutorial area by picking up as much random rubbish off the ground as possible. That includes random clipboards, items of clothing, you name it. If I can pick it up, I'm having it. Because we're going to have ourselves a very, very finite supply of goods. Oh yes, and we're also at the stage where we're in survival mode, which is quite exciting. If you've never played with survival mode before, it disables quite a lot of the game. For example, I can no longer fast travel, but seeing as I'm not able to leave Sanctuary, that's hardly a problem. Anyway, more resources need to be picked up, various coffee cups and stim packs, pre-war money. Now of course, survival mode. That is then of course coupled with the maximum difficulty of the game, which can be pretty brutal indeed. Basically, enemies are really likely to give us things like diseases, they take significantly less damage, and we do significantly less damage in return. It's not a good or comfortable combination to be in, and it means that combat is one of the fastest ways to suddenly die. And if you remember what I said earlier, I'm playing with permadeath, which means one wrong move against radroaches is an easy way to die. And if you look at that in the bottom left, I don't have much health. Luckily for me, I can kind of cheese my health. Purified water is one of the ways we can get our health back, and luckily for us, this is a never-ending water fountain. So there we go, back up to top health. And we have a gun. Splendid. So Karen finds her own little Pip-Boy on the ground. I mean, the gentleman who had it previously wasn't using it, and after all, we're an entrepreneur. This is a fancy bit of technology that will hopefully allow us to get ahead in the game, and most importantly, leave this blasted vault, because there's no way we could possibly make money down here. So here we go, perfect. We're now ready to finish and exit the vault. Let's go. Yes, welcome to the lovely wasteland. What a glorious place. And we actually start surveying our savannah, so to speak. Across that little bridge there is Sanctuary, and everything on that island is going to be ours. And seeing as I've now finished the tutorial area and I'm out in the real world, I am no longer allowed to pick up anything or interact with anything that isn't on that island. Which is great, because, you know, I'm slowly going to starve to death, which I don't really want to have to deal with, but, you know, we're playing a video game, it is what it is. So here we are, the wonderful Sanctuary. And most importantly, our good friend is still around. It's none other than the distinguished gentleman, Codsworth. It's lovely to see you. Now, because of our high charisma, we have a slight advantage when it comes to getting some early experience, and that is that we can engage with these yellow dialogue options, which basically give us a little bit of experience. There you go, look at that, 15 whole experience. What a real game changer. And Codsworth actually volunteers to help us search the neighborhood. This is a very good idea, and you should always take it, because Codsworth can basically solo any monster in this area, and there are monsters in this area. We, however, are a puny mortal being that could probably die in 2 hits from a bloatfly, so yeah, we don't want to have to deal with them. But we will go around and pick up all the loot after them, and let Codsworth do, you know, all of the good stuff. Anyway, Codsworth's sensors have picked up movement in another house, so we're going to follow him on over there, and actually, we probably do want to do a little bit of combat, because that's going to allow us to hopefully get some experience for the kill. Oh, I've been shot, and by shot I mean the bloatflies hit me. Okay, lucky. We got a level up there. That's 10 experience. So there we go. Codsworth has helped us clear out a few houses, and we can actually take a look at what we've got in these houses, because they're kind of all we've got actually. We've got a novice safe in the ground, which I can open using one of my free lockpicks. Please, I cannot afford breaking a lockpick on a novice door. Oh my goodness, the lockpick, please do not break. Please do not. Why did that take so many attempts? That was way too close. But hey, in here we get ourselves a gun, as well as some ammunition, and also a silver fork, which is great because that gives us actually a metal we can use. And before I get myself too set up and comfortable, if we go back over to our starting house, on the floor here you will find the Your Special book, a very useful book indeed. So we're going to pick up ourselves the lovely Your Special book and sink an additional point into luck. Splendid stuff. Now when it comes to what perk we're picking up, we're going to be going for Idiot Savant. This is going to be one of the few ways we can actually level up. Normally in Fallout 4 you're leveling up off of quests, which you get usually by leaving Sanctuary and by killing things, which you can usually only do by leaving Sanctuary. So that means we have to think outside of the box, and this perk is going to be one of the few ways we can actually get a reliable source of experience. So first things first, we're going to actually need to tidy up Sanctuary. This process is very critical, because basically all of Sanctuary is made of resources, mostly useless resources, but still usable. Take this street lamp for example, it contains a fuse, and a fuse might be able to be used to build some kind of complicated bits of machinery, the kind of which that might actually keep us alive and not dead. So I'm going to do my best to quite simply run around all of Sanctuary and break down absolutely everything I find. Right, so a fair bit of time has passed since you last saw me. In fact, it's now 6:15 PM, which means the sun is slowly starting to set. However, before I go to bed, there is something I need to get set up first. Now, we actually need to get ourselves set up for survival. You might notice in the bottom right that we have a few notifications, one of which is the need to sleep, one is the need to eat, and the other is the need to drink. At the moment, whilst we do have some things in our inventory, like this bottle of tasty moonshine, that's not exactly a long-term supply of drinking water. Luckily for us, Sanctuary has one very overpowered feature, and that is its natural ability to generate water. So if we go on over here, you can see that we can build this incredible pump here, the water purifier. Huzzah! It requires some of our limited supplies, especially rare things like oil and copper, but when it's up and running, provided we can give it some power, all we need to do is attach the wire up like so, and huzzah, there we go, we have ourselves electricity and now water all running at the same time. So with that steady supply of water set up, we're now very comfortable indeed. And now that we have ourselves our water naturally set up over there, it's time for me to show you a trick that allows you to basically break most of this game. This right here is the water fountain. You might recognize it from inside of Vault 111. It's a very special little addition, because for some reason this bad boy dispenses purified water, without us actually needing to wait for our water pump over there to extract it. So yes, we can simply drink water from here, we won't get any radiation damage, and most importantly, eventually our thirst is going to go away. So there we go, we feel a bit better, but we're still parched, and now we're properly hydrated. That's great. We really need to be on top of these negative perks, because being peckish lowers our endurance, which gives us less health and defense, and being tired, of course, just lowers our action points. But if we leave these needs unattended for too long, then we're going to die, and that's hardly how we're going to become a millionaire now, is it? Dead people can't exactly expand their property portfolio, or at least I don't think they can. Maybe in America, you never know. But still, we've got the basic setup. We have ourselves the need of water sorted. Now we should probably deal with, the whole need of sleeping. Also, I have found a different outfit, the clean black suit, and yep, Pam looks significantly better and ready for business. This is good. Right, so I think I've done all we can for our first night. If we check our inventory, we have 17 bottle caps, which is, not exactly a million caps. That's pretty terrible. Now, I technically haven't finished clearing out any of those houses over there, but we'll get started on that tomorrow. So let's get a full healthy 8 hours rest. We now get to rise and shine at 5 AM. Look at this, what a glorious start to the day. This is the right moment for us to now go and clear out these other houses. If I remember correctly, I think there's blowflies in that house there. In this house over here, I don't think there's any enemies. Oh, that's a lie. There's a rad roach right there. Get him, Karen. Yeah. Karen business means business. And that's a good kill because we get a bit of extra experience. And we even find ourselves a fishing rod. Well, at least behind the house, we did find this, a chemistry station. It's a pretty exciting little stand because it allows us to make weaponry and also various healing things, like a full-blown radaway. Although, in order to make this, we need glowing fungus, and we are definitely never having access to glowing fungus. Okay, well, that is the chemistry station. I really thought we'd get something more useful out of it, but unfortunately, yeah, there's basically no recipes there for us. But still, I have one other thing I want to do, and that is try and generate as much experience as possible. Now, there's a few ways you can generate experience quickly in Fallout, but the main way comes from building things. In particular, every time we build something, we get a small amount of experience. It means that when I say build this lovely picture of a dog and hang it on this wall, I get free experience. However, it cost me 5 wood to build that picture. Not exactly great value for money. If instead I attach this painting that's slightly cheaper that only costs 3 wood, I get 2 experience. But then let's say I no longer like the painting that I've built and I want to scrap it. Well, I can do that, but I only get 1 wood back. So that means every time I do this cycle, I'm ever so slightly losing resources. Now, luckily for me, the developers decided to make our lives just a little bit easier by including a few cheesy little items, in the form of this wooden wall shelf here. This wall shelf only takes 2 wood to build, and if I build it, it gives me 2 experience. If I then decide to get rid of it, I can scrap it, and it gives me 1 wood back. So basically, this shelf exists as a way for me to convert my existing supply of wood directly into experience. So I'm going to be building quite a few of these, and you'll notice every once in a while, a little guy appears in the middle of my screen. This is my idiot savant perk firing. So I'm going to build a few of these until I've just hit the next level, and there we go. I now stop, and I'm going to scrap all of these wooden shelves that I've stacked on top of each other. So with all of that progress made, I'm now going to begin the endless task of scrapping these shelves over and over again, so that way I can get some of my wood back. All whilst the audio layers on top of each other because the idiot savant perk is firing over and over and over again in the background. It's enough to send a gentleman insane. But hey, now if I check my inventory, I can clearly see that I'm in fact level 5, so that's pretty darn good. This allows me to make some progress by grabbing the local leader perk, which is very useful because eventually it's going to allow us to build shops in our own settlement, and that's basically going to be the main way we make money. We've got to get a capitalist enterprise up and running after all. I think it's time we actually welcome other people to the settlement. Now this is where we are going to have to get quite cheesy. In order to welcome people to the settlement, you need to build this, a recruitment radio beacon. In order to build it, you need to have crystal. This is one of the hardest resources to actually find in the game. Now if you're playing Fallout normally, all you have to do is cross on over to the red rocket, and that will mean that Trash Can Carla starts moving around the map, and she will eventually visit you here. She will then be able to sell you the crystal you need. We don't have that luxury because we're not able to leave Sanctuary, so instead we have to think outside of the box a little bit. Now what we're going to do is pull off a slight manipulation of the game's design, with what is basically an instant loaded loot exploit. The way Fallout handles its loot is rather simple. When you load into an area, all of the containers are filled with items. You can then loot those items and potentially you'll find something you need. Now in our case, we need some kind of junk that has crystal inside of it, and inside that underground basement is a container that has a chance to spawn such items. However, there's a chance it won't spawn what we actually need. Luckily for us, we can ever so slightly manipulate the game's design, and the way in which we do that is by dropping a save while sleeping. Then if we run on over to the instance we want to enter, we can simply open it up and enter. Now there is a chance that inside of here we don't get the item we want, and if that's the case, we just load the save back. So we can check inside of this wooden crate and see that we have ourselves some silver, some radex, and some steel from a wrench. So yes, this time in the bunker, we haven't found the item we want, so we're just going to have to load our save file back up. Right, now we come back in and the box only has radaway inside of it, which is useless. This is going to take quite a bit, ladies and gentlemen, so I'll be back as soon as I manage to find myself some crystal. Right, after loading the same save file probably over 100 times, we finally have the crystal liqueur decanter. There we go, this is one of a few items that spawns in with crystal. Now all we need to do is get our wonderful beacon going. So here it is, the recruitment radio beacon, requiring 2 circuitry, some crystal, copper, steel, ceramics, and rubber. With this bad boy built, all we need to do is attach it up to our electricity supply, and huzzah, it is now active. And so with that running, we're now sending out a lovely radio signal, this settlement recruitment beacon. Now what this means is basically every day, relative to the amount of people we have in our settlement, we have a percentage chance of someone arriving, provided we're not standing inside of the big green circle. Luckily for us, the big green circle doesn't encompass all of Sanctuary. For example, I can stand out here, and so yes, provided I'm standing over here for enough time, there is a chance for a new settler to spawn in. So I guess now I just need to get this area tidied up and ready for some colonists. Sorry, I mean settlers, yes. Now if there's one thing people need, it's beds, and of course we're going to provide people with only the finest sleeping bags. The reason we're using sleeping bags is because they're the most cost effective at only 3 cloth a bed. We currently have a small amount of food stored up, we've got water, and would you look at that, it's our first settler, ladies and gentlemen. They've just spawned in straight away. Hello, it's nice to meet you. Anyway, Karen Business is going to do her first trade here. This settler has arrived with a various amount of things inside of their inventory, namely bobby pins, bottle caps, and iguanas on a stick. Now in an ideal world, we'd be able to immediately turn them into a trader who we could start doing business with and selling our purified water to. There's just one issue. A trading stand requires us to have the rank 2 in local leader, a skill that we can't actually unlock until we reach level 14, and we're only level 5. So you can probably guess what's about to happen next. We're going to allow this settler to work away in the fields, and I'm going to do my best to level up as fast as possible by repeatedly spamming the exact same shelf over and over again. Here we go, perfect wall shelf, let's go. So away we go, spamming as many wall shelves as possible. Anyway, I'll be back after I've hit my goal. Right, okay, I'm back. I've done a good amount of work, just repeatedly building shelves over and over again, to the point that I've now hit level 9, which is very snazzy. Although at this point, I'm starting to get really thirsty, really hungry, and also tired again. Karen business could do with a nap. However, instead of sleeping in our bed that we built inside of this lovely yellow house, we're instead going to go back to the bunker. The reasoning is simple. If we can spend a full day in our bunker, that's technically not us in the same instance as this area, meaning we get to re-roll the chance of a new settler joining. So we're going to let our, first settler have a great time, just working away on the weights bench. Good for them. Meanwhile, Karen business is gonna do some pommel horsing. Let's go. Yeah, Karen business, go. Woohoo. So yes, we're going to let our one settler enjoy the whole experience for themselves, and we're going to take ourselves to bed. So down into the root cellar we go, and we are going to sleep for a full 24 hours. Why not? Right, okay, I slept underground like a mole rat for basically 2 days straight, and a brand new settler has arrived. Wait, did they come with a cow? They've come with a cow. An unassigned Brahmin. What? Wait, hang on a second. Does that mean we don't actually have a second settler? We just have a cow? Well, I guess we can build it a Brahmin feeding trough. That might be something we can do. Well, hey, that's something. We've got ourselves a cow. Oh no, we do also get an extra person. Lovely. Right, human male, I'm going to command you. You're going to look after the cow. I don't know what you can do with it, but potentially we can get food. Oh, this gentleman is great. He comes with 4 bottle caps that he's going to donate to us, as well as some more iguana meat. Splendid stuff. Thank you very much, sir. And so, with a new gentleman arriving in our settlement, there's a few things we can get him to do. We can set him up on a defensive post to generate defense score for us, or alternatively, I can assign him to this lovely scavenging station. This now means every single day he'll go out into the Commonwealth and fetch us a few extra little resources. These will get dumped inside of our storage, and potentially we can use them to build things, which is very useful indeed. Right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. An entire day has passed in the real world since you've last seen me, and I have actually made some good progress. For a start, we're now up to level 13. That's right, Karen business is almost ready to hit level 14, which is of course for us very important, as it's going to allow us to set up shops. At the same time, the fact that we hit level 11 means I can now get the second perk point in Idiot Savant, meaning now instead of getting 3 times the experience, we get 5 times the experience. This will massively improve my leveling process. There we go, with more of these shelves built, we've fantastically managed to hit level 14. Splendid stuff. So now when I click level up, I can see my wonderful local leader can now be selected. Perfect. So now with us being able to have local leader, this is where we can actually start making money, because we can build our very own shops. Shops are quite fantastic because they generate a passive income based off of the total people living in the settlement, and we can also trade with our own traders, meaning we can make money. There's just one slight issue. In order to build any of these, you actually need money in the first place. The basic trading stand requires 300 bottle caps, and we hardly have any bottle caps. The only ones we've managed to get are from scavenging these local houses and asking each of our new arrivals to donate their currency when they get here. Now, we can technically farm settlers for this money. For example, we could repeatedly kill our own settlers, so that way we get endless fresh waves of people and we rob their bottle caps over and over again. The issue is this process is incredibly time consuming, so instead we're going to use this lovely little barber chair. And basically what the barber chair provides is a bonus to happiness and a small amount of caps each day relative to the amount of people living in your settlement. The only problem is I need at least 5 people in my settlement before this starts making any money. So I'm going to go and sleep inside of my bunker for a few days and hope that a 5th person arrives. But for the moment, things are looking very good indeed. Oh, and there we go. Whilst I've been doing this, apparently a 5th settler has now spawned on in. I do believe it is this gentleman over here. Hello, sir. You've got a fedora on. Wow. Look at you. So very fancy. And you don't even spawn in with any bottle caps. Sir, you are useless for me. Okay, well, it's still fine. Having a 5th settler around is very useful, because now we're going to be able to start making money from our barber's chair. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign our lovely settler here to our scavenging station. Splendid stuff. And in the meantime, hopefully we're also going to start making money. So I'm going to go and sleep for a straight 24 hours and see if we've made any bottle caps off of our incredible new barber shop. Now, because technically some time has passed, our barber's chair has been generating some money, along with our junk scavenger has been going out into the world to pick up some stuff for us. So if we check our workshop, we can see, yes Yes, 9 bottle caps stored up. 9 entire bottle caps. Perfect, that takes us up to 70. Look, it might not seem like much, but this is one of the fastest, slow ways of making caps in the apocalypse. Okay, the exercise equipment in Fallout 4 is just too silly to be taken seriously. So, a new settler has arrived at the colony, and I just realized, and I went outside to try and greet them, and they're currently in the process of having a nice bit of cutscene dialogue with me. Is there anything I need you to do? Let me have a little chat. Can we do some trading? That'd be great. Oh, you've got 8 bottle caps in your inventory. Perfect. I'll be yoinking those. Lovely jubbly. Thank you very much for your service, settler. Keep up the good work. Wow. And a dismount. Claps, everyone. Claps for Rosy-Faced Jim. Amazing. All right, I know I need to steal the bottle caps from my workshop as well, because some more have been generated from the barber shop. And there we go. We're now up to 84 bottle caps. We are almost 1/3 of the way to our goal. Wow. It feels really bad when you put it like that.
6 months later.
Right, okay, a ridiculous amount of time has passed, and, well, I'm finally at the stage where I've got enough money, and also, I guess, my weight bench is once again haunted, but this is all pretty standard things for the universe of Fallout 4. Our farming setup is also doing incredibly well, which is great, but of course, the main thing we want to focus on now is going to be our shop. So, let's get a brand new trading shop set up, the trading stand. Huzzah! Isn't it great? It's got a little shop icon on it. Now I just need to assign one little settler to it, and I think we have ourselves a new arriver. Yes, this is our new arriver. We can tell because they've arrived with 7 bottle caps, which we'll immediately rob. Splendid. Look, I've spent well over 55 days in this game already, and I only just got 300 bottle caps. So yes, every little bit counts. And I think I have now assigned a settler to the trading stand. Perfect. And now this means we can actually properly barter in our own settlement. Huzzah, here it is. Look, a settler with an actual inventory of items. We've got expensive things like the whole shipment of various items. We've got random junk. There's loads of stuff. It's fantastic. And this is where we're going to finally be able to actually start making a ridiculous amount of cash. I can immediately sell my wedding ring for 149 bottle caps. Huzzah! Now that's what I call value. So let's confirm the trade, and we're already up to 209 bottle caps. Lovely. The only problem is our settler here now doesn't have any money on them, and their money won't resupply for 3 days. But for the first time in just the span of 1 day, we made over 150 bottle caps, which has not happened so far. Right, I'm back, and there's a helicopter flying above me, so I can't use any of this audio. I suppose you could. Go away, helicopter! Go away! My god, it's the Brotherhood of Steel! Oh dear. Helicopters love getting in the way of my Fallout 4 recordings. I really should contact the king and ask him to put a no-fly zone above my house, just so that way all of my audio is perfectly fine. Anyway, I've spent a few days hiding underneath the ground, and that means I can come out again because my lovely trader has reset their inventory, meaning all of their bottle caps have increased back up to 236. That's wonderful. This means that we can now do some extra trading with them, so if that's what we're going to do. Now, we of course generate a ridiculous amount of water every day thanks to our massive water pumps. Now, that's pretty useful for us because we can use the excess water to actually sell. Each water is valued at 13 bottle caps, so I can sell 18 of them to clear out this trader's inventory. It's perfect. With that complete, I now have enough money that I can actually open myself up yet another trading store. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'll open up a new shop, switch a settler over to doing that instead of scavenging, and now I can trade with them. Yes, I am. Let's barter. Your inventories are tied. No! Why did no one tell me that their bottle cap inventories would be tied together? I was like, oh, I'm being very witty. These two people will have different amounts of bottle caps, and I could just have an entire settlement of traders and be able to make infinite money. But no, of course the game wants to get in the way of my fun. Fine, I see how it is. Okay, so pretty clearly this new trading stand that I invested in was a failure because it turns out stores of the same type share the same inventory. So that shop is now gone. However, what I desperately need is a clinic, which requires 600 bottle caps. And the reasoning for this is simple. I am currently dying because of an infection, which means every once in a while I randomly take damage. Now, there are of course a few things I can take to increase my health temporarily, but realistically I am in desperate need of an actual proper medical professional. So that means I'm going to sleep for another 24 hours and hope that the trader's inventory resets, sell as many things as I can, go back and hibernate for another 48 hours, and then hopefully we will just have enough money to buy ourselves a doctor who can presumably cure me of my infection before I die. Oh, amazingly, I woke up and my infection is now gone. Great, I didn't even need the 600 bottle caps for the doctor. Well, still, it's going to be quite useful because the more merchants we have, the better, as the doctors will have their own trading inventory. So I'll sell some more purified water. I'm now down to just having 21, but that means I've got 769 bottle caps in my inventory. We can now build ourselves a first aid station. Bam. It's great. And now I can assign this settler, who has nothing to do, to the lovely first aid station. Oh, and this means, finally, ladies and gentlemen, after many, many months of gameplay, I can finally have my radiation cured. Here we go. Cure me by radiation for 40 caps. And that's it. We have now hit the point where we are self-sustaining. Our economy now makes money, and we make enough money whereby we'll always be able to get ourselves cured by a doctor. And of course, we can still trade with this doctor. And because they're one of our own merchants rather than an NPC, we're able to actually sell them absolutely anything, meaning even this merchant is willing to buy our purified water. And because they have 496 caps lying around, they're willing to buy all of our water. And fantastic, there we go. We've basically cleared them out of all of their money, and we've got 613 caps left. Brilliant stuff indeed. Now, what other shops can I have? Oh yes, a drink stand will be good. So I'm going to build my lovely community a little bar. Wabam. And now I have yet another merchant to sell some goods to. Alright, so there we go. We've managed to successfully get yet another shop open. This one with 109 caps in its inventory. So we're going to sell them some of our drugs because realistically we don't need them. And also this moonshine. And there we go. We've now made yet another 90 caps. Splendid. We're making money at an incredible rate. The only problem is we're making it at a rate that is unsustainable. Even if I were to build more water pumps and produce more purified water, realistically we're not going to be able to keep up. And sure, I suppose it is the completely legitimate way of playing, but you know, you don't watch a Spiff video for a completely fair playstyle. No, you watch it because I love breaking things. Right, so it's time for our lovely hero to show you, the audience, how to truly make some money. And we're going to demonstrate this by dropping some acid, quite literally on the ground. There you go. It's got a little label and everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate matter out of thin air. The way in which this works is quite simple. We're going to be using two functions at the same time. You see, junk items when dropped on the ground can be scrapped by pressing the R key. If we were to press enter here, we would scrap this one item of acid, and inside of our workshop's inventory, one item of acid would be created. Alternatively, we can press tab to store. If we do that, this item of acid that's on the floor would be moved inside of our workshop's inventory. Very simple. Either way, we'd be turning one acid into one other acid. Nothing too exciting. However, we can break this game's UI a bit. For you see, if you get really good at practicing your timings, you'll eventually work out that if you press scrap and then hold down on tab soon after you've released the button to scrap, something magical will happen. This lovely menu will appear like so. A slightly glitched and broken UI, whereby provided I hold down tab, two UI elements are open. I can click this button to scrap the acid on the ground in front of us, adding one acid to our workshop's inventory, and then I can press yes here to store the item of acid that is technically still on the ground inside of the workshop's inventory. This means that now when I go into my workshop, you will clearly see that there are two items of acid. Now that's more than we started with, but dropping acid isn't the main way we want to make money. No, we're going to be thinking outside of the box by mixing fertilizer and plastic together. So I'm going to drop a bunch of fertilizer on the floor alongside 42 plastic. Now all I'm going to do is pull off my exploit again by holding down scrap, releasing it, and then trying to press store immediately after. This timing is a little bit finicky, of course, but once you get your practice down, it's relatively easy to reproduce. So that's our 24 fertilizer duplicated. I will now do the same with the plastic. Huzzah! And so now if I go inside of my workshop, I will find all of my lovely fertilizer and plastic right here. Now you might be questioning, what on earth are we going to do with a bunch of cow dung and plastic? Well, the good news is we can combine them to make drugs. Yes, this is Jet. With just 2 fertilizer and 1 plastic, we can make ourselves a drug valued at 50 bottle caps. Best of all, I even get experience when making this. So yes, I'm just going to very rapidly spam out quite a lot of Jet. Huzzah, fantastic. And now if I check my inventory, I've got 26 Jet lying around. So now if I go over to my lovely traders, I can see that this settler has 19 bottle caps lying around. Well, I can sell them 1 item of Jet for 32. Now of course all of my traders are out of money, so for the time being we can't sell many drugs, but that's nothing a quick 24-hour sleep won't fix. Alright, so there we go. We wake up to another brand new, lovely, hazy, foggy day. Isn't it glorious? Well, hopefully all of my lovely merchants will have had their inventories reset, so I can now barter with them as their bottle caps have been topped up and sell them all of these wonderful drugs I've created. Here, have some. Splendid, we're up to nearly 600 bottle caps again. Then over to our doctor. Now my doctor has a wonderful 529 caps lying around, so we can pretty much sell our entire stock to them. Splendid stuff. And now we're up to 1,000 bottle caps in our inventory. This is fantastic. So there we go. All of our lovely trades complete, and we're now up to 1,285 caps. So naturally it's time for me to get back to the duplicating board and then to the lab. Right, so welcome back to the game, ladies and gentlemen. We're now up to level 16 because Karen Business has been breaking it bad at the lab, meaning we now have 543 jets in our inventory, which is insane. So I'm going to go to sleep for 48 hours so the vendors can refresh their inventory, and then we can try and sell some of this good stuff on the open market. Ah, there we go. I awaken feeling well rested. I've of course drink from my cheesy water fountain. Now it's time for a good day of selling drugs, like you know, a reputable business individual. Hello there, settler. What have you got for me? Yes, you can. If the drink is cold hard caps, I mean. You can have some of my lovely jet. That gives me 100 caps. Splendid. Now we sell to the clothing merchant. Then we sell to the armor merchant. Next up, it's the medic. And finally, it's our wonderful general goods trader. Splendid. There we go. We've sold all of our stock, and we've made 2,353 caps. I can't help but notice that's a little bit of a way off of 1 million, ladies and gents. I mean, sure, I can technically repeat this process, go back to bed, wake up, and go again, but if every time I'm doing this I'm only making 1,200 caps, it's still going to take me 833 inventory resets before I have enough money to claim to be a millionaire. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we have broken the game. We've created an infinite cycle, but it's just not sustainable. Luckily for me, there is still one thing I can do to make money, and that's a continuation of the last exploit that you saw. You see, of course, when you scrap and store an item at the same time, something magical happens. The item is destroyed and you get the resources back, but at the same time you don't lose the building, meaning I can place down this surgery center that cost me 5 wood, 1,800 bottle caps and 3 steel. There we go, it's now built, and I can press R to scrap it. Now when I scrap it, I get back 2 wood, 900 bottle caps and 1 steel. But if, like with my previous exploit, I can time it correctly, just like this, I can press enter to scrap the building and get my money, and then store it inside of my inventory. By storing it inside of the workshop inventory, I can now place it back down for free. Then I can repeat this process, once again choosing to scrap and store. Splendid stuff. So I've now scrapped this item over and over again, and we've still got it out on the ground, but if I check my inventory in the workshop, you'll notice we have 3,600 bottle caps lying around. This is a much faster way of making money. We're now up to 4,000 bottle caps. My goodness. So ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for a glorious montage as I show you what it takes to become the ultimate millionaire. Right, so montage over. I've been doing that for around about 10 minutes and I've managed to generate myself nearly 20,000 bottle caps, taking us up to 23,979. That's pretty darn good. However, if it takes me 10 minutes to make 20,000 bottle caps, that means IRL, in order to become a millionaire, I'm going to have to spend 500 minutes doing this. That is an absurd, stupid amount of time that absolutely no one would ever possibly choose to invest in Fallout 4. Anyway, here I go. Right, you might be wondering what on earth Karen Business is doing all in a dress rather than making money. Well, it's because, ladies and gentlemen, today's the day to celebrate, for we are very close to our success. As we go over to our stores and get ready to build ourselves another clinic, you will notice that we have 997,000 caps in our inventory, meaning we are just a few exploit ticks away from being able to claim that we are, in fact, a millionaire. There we go, get it stored. Oh, this should be it. 9 999,000 caps. Let's go. Oh, nope, I missed it. Let's go. Yes, store it. And let's take this out of the inventory. And wabam, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. 1 million bottle caps are now inside of our inventory. We have done it. Yes, my goodness. Look, I even built this wonderful podium where I could stand because, yes, Karen Business is a business genius. We've done it. We've made so much money. So I guess the question is, what on earth do we do now? I mean, after all, we've completed all of our business. We've got 1 million bottle caps. What can we even spend it on? Well, we can go to our lovely traders and we can buy things from them. Like, for example, a large amount of armor. All right, so now I've got some lovely armor. Perfect. And I'm just going to make a little trip to the weapons shop. Yep, I'm sure none of my settlers are going to notice what's going on here. Looking for a weapon? Yes, please. Oh my goodness, is that a hardened sniper rifle? Perfect, I'll take that. Splendid. So now I have myself a lovely sniper rifle. Sorry guys, thanks for helping me make all this money. But unfortunately, you're not going to be around here to see it last. They're fighting back. No, they got me. Their glorious leader. Of course, as always, a massive thank you to each and every one of you lovely people who support us as either a Patreon or a YouTube channel member, and also to those of you who buy our wonderful merch. It's an incredibly lovely thing all of you do. Anyway, I'll see each and every one of you in the next one. Have a lovely day and goodbye for now.